What's up, everyone? Welcome to my breakdown here. My name is Kevin Allen, aka The Geek, or you might now know me as the Arbaholic, as I have become addicted to arbitrage betting. So what I'm doing today is I want to break down the arbitrage tool available at the Sharp app. We're going to talk about how you can make risk-free profits on the sportsbook utilizing this tool. Now, to get started, I want to talk about what arbitrage betting is if you're new to this. Like for a lot of you guys, you want a tutorial, but primarily if you're new to this, arbitrage betting is effectively exploiting discrepancies between one sportsbook and another, usually on player props, but a lot of different markets, primarily because the different sportsbooks don't really talk to each other. So there are times when there are discrepancies at various sportsbooks, and you can exploit them as a sports bettor. And I'll show you what I mean with some bets that I've put on, some of my experience using this tool shortly, but you can exploit them. And I know it's going to sound almost too good to be true, but it's not. You're seeing them on screen here. I've got the arbitrage tool from Sharp app open on screen. And as you can see, I just want you to observe as I'm talking how you're seeing changes happening in real time, opportunities popping up at all times. And hopefully over the course of this video, I'll actually go through the process of putting in a bet on both sides. We'll see if we can get to that as well. But you can see here, there are always opportunities. They're constant. They're all throughout the day. They're all throughout the night. And I'm going to show you some examples of what I've done. Now, the tool that you're looking at here is the tool we've built at Sharp app. Now, we launched this tool literally March 13th. So it's been a couple of weeks. I'm going to show you some of the results that I've had since we've launched. But since the launch, we've been working on perfecting, upgrading with the goal of being the fastest from sportsbook to screen that is possible to get. So our goal is get it from odds existing to screen in the fastest possible time to give us the best possible opportunity to jump on some of these arbitrage opportunities. Again, what we're doing is simply exploiting market inefficiencies. Think about this. If we were talking about the stock market, imagine instead of one stock market, there were 50 of them and they weren't interconnected with one another. So occasionally it would happen that you could buy, your favorite stock, your Apple stock for $2.20 on one, but you could sell it for $2.25 on another one at that exact moment. So you buy as much as you can for $2.20, you sell as much as you can for $2.22, and boom, that's called an arbitrage. Eventually what arbitrage does is it cleans up the market. So we are performing what I would call an essential task as well by doing this. So this is a great tool, and it effectively can function as a side income, a side hustle, a regular source of profits, and certainly a nice hedge to your normal sports betting where you're going to win, you're going to lose, you're up, you're down, you're this, that. You add this in and it will smooth out your returns. I'll show you what I mean momentarily when I show you my tracked bets. Now, the goal in this video today is going to be, we're going to take a walkthrough of how to get set up at Sharp app with this tool, how you use it, kind of the execution of it, and how you could just start to feel a little bit confident about using a tool like this to up your sports betting game. Now, in order to get started with this tool, you're going to need an account at Sharp app with a Pro Plus subscription. That is the subscription level that includes the arbitrage tool. It's everything you see on screen is what that's going to be. In addition, you'll need access to multiple sports books. Part of the deal is we are trying to exploit discrepancies between various sportsbooks. So having multiple sportsbook outs is critical for this working. We also want you also need some accounts with what are called sportsbook exchanges. Exchanges are sportsbooks where users make the market. So users are posting both sides of the bet. That sportsbook on an exchange does not make any money off of, they're not taking risk. They're simply facilitating bets, peer-to-peer betting. Exchanges have become a wildly important source. You can see right here at the top of the screen, this is Profit. That's an exchange. This is Ballybet. So you can see here that the best kind of, and here's another one with DraftKings and Novig. Novig is an exchange. DraftKings is a standard sportsbook. And those are the best kind of plays because the exchanges allow you to get as much volume down as you want without ever having any kind of threat of being limited, which is key. A lot of times people do ask me, hey, Kev, if you built such an amazing tool and it's such a money machine, why are you allowing other people to use it, right? That just creates more competition for you to get these ARBs because the ARBs do move pretty quickly. And the answer is, we can only get down, let's call it a limited amount of volume on a daily basis. If you, these are generally prop bets, there's limits to how much you can bet on these things. And there is significant risk of being limited if you get too aggressive with the stuff. So that's why, hey, that's why we're out here sharing the tool with the public, giving everybody else an opportunity to make passive income using this tool to, again, to really smooth out your sports betting returns. So, of course, you'll need a Sharp app account with the Pro Plus subscription. You'll need as many outs as you possibly can in your home state. And by the way, we have people doing this from every state, including Texas, California. You don't need traditional sports books in your state because there are exchanges and sweepstakes and other sports books that exist everywhere. So you certainly need that. A basic understanding of betting odds is helpful. So understanding what minus 110 is versus plus 110. Right? When you see American style odds like this on screen here, right here is an opportunity where I can bet OG over 1.5 steals at plus 110. So if I bet 100, I want to make 110. And here's an under 1.5 steals for plus 104. So if I bet 100, I'm going to make 104. So if I bet both sides of this bet, if I put $1,000 on this side to win, I would win $1,100 if he goes over. If I put 1,000 on this side, I would win $1,040 if it goes under. So 1,100 over, 1,040 under. So my worst case scenario when I bet both sides is if this side wins, I'll win $40. I'll lose nothing. I will win $40. If this side wins, I will win $100. That's it. That's what we call risk-free profits. If you get both sides in, no matter what happens with the play, you are winning money on that bet. And I will show you examples. So the outs, a little bit of understanding of odds, American odds, plus 110, minus 110, all of that. And you'll learn that really quickly anyway, just using this. And of course, a small starting bankroll to get you going. How much that is, it depends. But what I would say is, let's say something like $500 on each of the exchanges or $1,000 on each of the exchanges. And then I'd probably spread out $200 to $300 to $400 on each of 4 or 5 sports books, so that I have a nice mix of outs to get on a daily basis. But it doesn't really matter. You do whatever feels comfortable. And I also strongly suggest starting very small as you learn how to do this. Is there a way to change from American to decimal odds in the ARB tool? No, we don't have that at the moment. Maybe something we might bring down the road, but not sure. This is a great question, Dixon. And one of the beautiful things about arbitrage betting is bots cannot do this. That's what I love about it. If this was, remember I mentioned the sports betting comparison to Wall Street and the stock market. The reason you'd never have any real opportunities in Wall Street and stock market is exactly for this reason. The bots would take over. They would just hammer it. And you would never get to the point where you could click one. Computers will do it fast. This cannot be automated. You have to be sitting here at the computer, clicking the buttons. You're constantly being logged off and on. There are complications. You have to do a little bit of math. So like you have to log in all the time. You have to do a lot of different things. And of course, you have to limit how much you put on each one, or the sportsbook will quickly limit you. So if you used a bot to do this, you'd be gone in seconds. You would not even last half a day. So that is the beauty of this system. I know it seems like something that is too good to be true. I thought so too. Guys, I'm going to show you my results. This is real. This is my Pickett screen. Okay, I can't manipulate this. This is an outside site that tracks my bets. And I'm going to show you some of the bets from yesterday. But I will show you, hey, listen, we launched this tool on Thursday, March 13th. Before that, you see, hey, here's your boy betting 20K, 25K, big bets, going crazy, wins, losses, the whole thing. And I said, no, we are arbing going forward. So starting on the 13th, you could see here the consistent profits. And I'm going to show you yesterday, but, green. This is just the average, 150, 175, $250, 250. There's a losing day because I actually messed up an ARB that day and doubled up one side. So how can you make mistakes? What are some of the negatives? Well, right here, you could see at one point, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but at one point on this particular day, instead of doing an over and an under, I doubled up on an over. Right? And that will kill your day. So you do have to be careful, paying attention to what you're doing, and being quick about it is helpful. Everybody's got their own tricks. You can have an iPad open, a cell phone open. Everybody got their own tricks. right? But a mistake will happen. No big deal. Make it back the next day. Here we have a couple of reds, but this is from some March Madness betting that I did. Significant bets that I did on these couple of days. No big deal, but you could look at the overall as green, 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 green. Here's a misgraded bet. Another one. This is just a bet that they misgraded, and that would have been a green day as well, although closer to break even. So what I'm using this tool for is I'm doing mostly my arb bets, then I'll mix in some what I call normal bets, plus EV always, but normal bets mixed in, right? So I want to show some examples just from my bets from yesterday to explain what an arb bet really looks like. Now, so this is my tracker. We had a great month of March. Thank goodness, up $1,300, and that is half a month of arbing. Extrapolate that out to a full month, and we're making about $3,000 a month. Code Res, you absolutely can do it. I have my brother's doing it in Florida. Multiple people. Statsational's doing this from Florida. You have access to ProfitX, Novig, Hard Rock, Rebet, Onyx. There's plenty of availability. You can do this from every single state. With exchanges generally do not limit you at all for money in and out, and they also don't give very big bonuses. But if you go on a sweepstakes site, I suggest doing this, but there are some bonus offers where they tell you you need to 10x play through your funds before you can remove them. I still think you should do it because you're going to get a ton of volume off. Jake P, how do we know what exchanges and sportsbooks we need to be using? First, you could just listen to me as I'm telling you, but it depends on your state. But there are certain ones here in the tool that come up all the time, and they're available everywhere. So like I said, when it comes to exchange in your state, you want every single legal sportsbook at your disposal. So if you live in New Jersey, there's about 17 sports books you can do. If you're in New York, there are 6 or 7. I'm in New York, so I'll show you. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So here, I live in New York, and you could see here, these are the sports books that I currently have. Pretty much everyone. There's one missing. I haven't done Resorts World, but I will. Just haven't gotten around to it. But they're all available to me. Then outside of that group, I've got Novig. Here are other ones. You can get Onyx Odds. I don't really care for it, but you can get that one. Rebet is another site. These are called sweepstakes sites. Fliff, stake.us. There's more of these available outside of New York. New York has some regulations, but Bettor, Stake, those are available in every state in the union. And more of these type of sites are popping up all the time. I got ESPN Bet down here. And of course, the king of all exchanges is ProfitX. ProfitX and Novig are your best friends. And of course, on the Sharp app, when you're signing up, we do have a link to sign up at ProfitX. And we do want you to go through the link and get a little bonus when you sign up. I think it gives you a $300 bonus when you get signed up. So make sure when you're signing up for this tool that you have ProfitX. How much do I think do you need to get started? Now, I want you to think about this in this way. This is a great question, Cooper Flag. And here's how I want you to think about it. With this tool, you can run your full volume that you have available to you most days, and you'll earn, let's say, if you're doing it right, you're not making mistakes, you should be able to do about 3%, 2.5%, let's call it 2.5% on average against your total volume. So if you're able to run, if you're able to get, let's say, $2,500 going across your exchanges and 4 or 5 different sports books that you use, and I'll tell you some tricks I use for my sports books or techniques. 2,500, do multiply that by, let's say, 2.5%. So let's say 25.50, that'd make about $60-70 a day. Now it is MLB season where you actually have the opportunity to do arbing early day for the 1 o'clock game. And if you get all your volume in there, you can turn around your volume twice. So it's possible to double that and do like $140 a day off of like a $2,500 total bankroll. The most important thing is you will see after a few days of using it, it takes about a week to really get comfortable. But after a little bit of time, you'll start to be like, oh, okay. Hey, you're going to start building up those bankrolls. In the shocking twist, your bankrolls are going to be going up every single day if you're doing this right. So whatever you start with, by the end of the month, you're going to have a lot more. So you're fine. Whatever it is, I mean, I wouldn't suggest starting with $250. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot, but you could. But this tool does call. We have a discounted price for our founding members. We are in the first month of existence for this tool. Listen, it's taken almost a year to bring this to life. And we thought it would be awesome, but I really never dreamed it was going to work as well as it does and be as again, it feels almost too good to be true when I'm using it all throughout the day. And I'm going to show you some examples, but let's jump back over to some bets that I've made on my Picket. And I just want to show what these bets look like. And here's a perfect one that I did yesterday, right? This is my Picket. This is not, I can't manipulate this screen. This is my tracker. Look at this bet that came up. Over 7.5 rebounds, LeBron James plus 110. Under 7.5 rebounds, LeBron James plus 102. So I bet 250 on the plus 102. I bet 250 on the plus 110. And the 110 hits. I get back $275, right? That covers 250 of it covers this bet, right? So that covered this one. And the $25 is the profit on that play. So that just pops up. Now you could say, Kevin, why don't you bet $10,000 on each side and make all this money? And if you do that, they're going to ban you from the sport. Like, you can't do that. Again, that's why I'm not able to use this tool to just exclusively enrich myself and no one else. The server power alone to operate a tool like this is well into the 5 figures category. We're doing 15 million calculations per second. We're scanning. Every single line has tens of thousands of iterations. So it is quite a heavy burden to deliver this tool. And so, of course, we all get to share in the benefits. All right. I don't feel comfortable. $10 a day. Am I too much of a peasant for this, geek? Be honest. No. You start small. You start like that, and you will develop the comfort. These are not bets. These are not bets. So to call this a bet is incorrect. These are every single time you put this money down, you have already won before you started. So I don't consider this betting. Whatever you're scared to bet, that's fine. Those are risk behaviors. This is not a risk behavior. The only risk here is that you make a mistake, an error along the way. You are not patient. You move too quick. You don't understand what you're doing, but we'll show you how to do it. But again, let me roll back to some of these plays that we did yesterday. Saw the LeBron James. Let me see if I can pair up any other ones here. Again, it just shows it. Yeah, here we go. PJ Washington. I did the same thing. This one, plus 100 on the under, plus 110 on the over. I take, so for me, I did 200 on each side. In this case, the plus 100 hit. So this was a break-even play. Now, had I wanted to kind of work it perfectly, I might have done it like 205 on this one and 200 on that side and something like that. But a lot of times what I like to do is just keep the number consistent. So if it's a plus number, I tend to bet 1 unit size of whatever my unit size is. And when it's a minus number, I bet to win 1 unit or maybe a little bit more than that. But I don't want to put in crazy numbers. So back to the tool here. Those are the basics to get started. You have your Sharp app account. You have your sportsbook outs, especially on the exchanges. Novig, ProfitX. Those are your and now, again, exchanges never limit you. You never have any. You could get as much volume. And by the way, there is something called the unicorn bet, which is exchange versus exchange. And when that happens, you better be fast. Everybody's going to go after it. But if you can hit it, you could put all of your volume down on that one play. Okay, so once you've gotten all of that set up, we're going to set up our sportsbook preferences. And again, this, when you go to Sharp app, this will be geolocated to wherever you are. So it's going to find the recommended sports books in your state automatically for you. It's going to know, hey, this guy's in Chicago, this one's in Florida, wherever you are, it's geolocated. And it's going to give you recommendations for which mainline sports books to have. And then, of course, we always recommend for everybody Novig and ProfitX. And again, there are some others here that I've already mentioned. So you'll get all these sports books, right? And now we're ready to do some arbing. Let me show you the basics of how to do an arb. Does the arbing opportunity always include 2+ money odds? Absolutely not. Look on screen, right? Here we have some plus money double sides, but here's one where it's -140 plus 160. And one of the cool things the Sharp app arbitrage tool does is it tells you approximately how much to bet. So right here, you can see that for this this play, this is assists. Zach Rishire over 1.5, under 1.5 assists. Trailblazers is Hawks, right? So it tells you here, this is a minus 140 side. So this says here you want to bet 200. And on this side, you want to bet around 132. And at that split, now I don't do it that way. I'm going to explain how I do it. But at that split, regardless of which side, if this side wins, you'll win 1120. If that side wins, you'll win 1088. Now, we never put like pennies, never use pennies or change in any kind of betting. Just never do that. That is not something you ever want to do. So they are kind of rounded up. But you can see that one has now jumped to the top of the list here. It's a really nice ARB opportunity. Now, I can see here that this is ESPN bet. And being in New York, I already know that ESPN doesn't, you know, these alt lines don't often pop up. Like ESPN in New York is they're very limited in what they offer. So I already know, oh, it's pronounced. You know what? No, I don't know how to pronounce most of these names, to be very, very clear. And you should appreciate the fact that you don't need to know anything about ball to use this tool. You need to know nothing. I don't even know how to pronounce most of these names, right? So, and these are coming up. We have every sport in here, of course, baseball, NBA, college basketball. We actually have some other sports coming as well. At some point, we're going to work in some tennis and some MMA and other ones like that, the little oddball. We also have live betting coming soon, which is amazing. And that's a whole subject for a whole other video. But let's get into it. Let me show you the basics of how I would measure up and do an ARB on screen. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit to try to find one that's not going to move too quickly on me in real time as we are doing a video here. And it is challenging to both speak of this and show the stuff on screen simultaneously. But effectively, I'm going to look for an ARB opportunity. And then we're going to try to see if it's still live. So here we go. This one is Wendell Carter blocks. Actually, no, let me go to one where I can click both sides and kind of have an easy example to show. Here we go. So we'll go Scotty Barnes under 0.5 threes. So first thing I'm going to do is pause the screen here so that doesn't move on me, right? And here we go. So I'm going to start by, it's plus 175, minus 165. So this is not a great ARB to do, but I just want to show how one would do it. Okay, here we go. Can you see that? Yes, you can see it a little bit. So there's side one, and I would go back to the tool here, Scotty Barnes, and it says $117. So I'll round that up to 120. I don't use these weird numbers, so we'll go 120 on this side, right? To win 330. We're going to click on the other side of this bet here, and that's a profit X. So I'm going to show you how to do that one. And this is threes. So I'm looking for Scotty Barnes over 0.5 threes made. So I'm going to click on threes. I'm going to look for Scotty Barnes, and then we're going to see if the volume is there. So, oh, there it is. So here we go. It is there. So in this case, I could see here that here is the over 3.5, over 0.5 threes for Scotty Barnes. This is very, very important. When you use this particular site or when you use an exchange, it's important to also pay attention. This is what got me on the other one. It's important to also pay attention to how much liquidity is there. So this is telling me this over 0.5 is available, but there's only $234 of liquidity available. So now I got to make sure that whatever I'm doing on the Scotty Barnes play, oh, 200? Sure. All right. So if I did 200, there is enough volume to do 200 for the over. Where is it? Scotty Barnes. I keep losing my place here. Yeah, there is enough. There's enough volume there to do 200. So I would do 200 on that side. And then on MGM, I would do 120. So right here, I would hit that for the 120. Right here, I'm going to do two. I can actually do this in real time. I would do the 200, click both sides. And now let's see. That's a live ARB that we just did in real time. These are popping up constantly. I paused this tool just so you could see this one. These are coming up constantly. But in this case, that bet we just did will net me effectively $5 no matter which side wins. And be like, $5, Kev, what the hell's that? That's not a lot of money. All right. It's not. But yes, you can. You know, it's $5, do that 10 times a day. And it's very easy to do it 10 times a day. And now you're making $50 a day. And that was a 1%er. I don't even do those. Now let's slide up to the 2.5%er. That's $10. You do that 10 times a day. And you're making $100 a day. You might like, Kev, $100 is a lot of work. Is it a lot of work? I just sit here. This is open. And when I see arbs, I just kind of click on them. Bam, bam, bam. Look for one until I find one. Yeah. Bro, Mr. 5 Cent, I thought of you when we were building this tool, bro. You should have this. And by the way, as Ray, our super developer, is talking about, we are bringing the app version live. Part of the reason we don't have this on the app as of right now is simply because we wanted to perfect and debug as much as possible before bringing that tech to the app side, because you'd have to debug it all over again. So we are in the debugging process now, and that is why we are still in the founders mode, guys. So this tool, it's $179 a month currently. It's actually priced for $250. We have it discounted for the first founding members at $179 a month. Now you might be thinking, $179, that's a lot of money. I don't pay that for tools. This is not a tool. This is a business. This is a side hustle. When you're sitting here doing this, every single time you do one, it's a winner. Here, OG, right? This is a winner. Over 0.5. Under 1.5, over 1.5, you're just going to make money. You bet both sides of this, you're going to make $20 or $10 every single time. So you have to really think of this. This tool facilitates your ability to do arbitrage betting. Here's Steve, who has been using this tool. That's awesome. What's up, Steve? I didn't even know. Good job, right? 2 hours last night just messing around with $25 bets. Made $109. Now, so this is a tool that facilitates your ability to make $2,000, $3,000 a month every single month. Could be more if you're more aggressive about it. Could be less if you want to be less aggressive about it. But either way, you're going to cover your $150 a month. You're going to cover your $150 a month clip in no time. And if you don't, let me know. Cancel it. Yeah, and you will be able to do this from work. Like I said, we don't have it for the app yet. It is coming for the app as well. A week or two. I think she'd be impressed. Never tell a girl, never tell anybody about your arbit. Listen, the first rule of arbaholics is never talk about arbaholics. Arbaholics Anonymous. That's what our group is going to be called here. My channel in the Sharp App Discord is now converted to the Arb Talk channel as well. There's a lot of little things that I've been figuring out about arbitrage, little details that I want to share with you guys. And that's a whole other thing. Like, for example, rather than, I've learned over the last couple of weeks of arbing, again, I only do it for a couple of weeks, that it's much better to have you need a lot of outs, but I don't want to hammer them constantly. So on the softer books, there are certain sports books that are effectively always at the top of the screen. Their lines are soft. Pretty much almost all of them outside of FanDuel is really soft, but talking MGM, not so much Caesars, but MGM, Bet Rivers, Bally, Bet, Parks. There are certain sports books that are softer. And those sports books, you're going to beat closing line value against those guys a lot. So what I want to do is, rather than hammer one over and over and over and over again, let's say I hit Bally Bet right here for this one, right? That's the only Bally Bet I'm going to do that day. I'll do one. I'll get a $250 bet going, like my bet size, $250. Bam, I'll do one. And then I'm probably done with them for the day. I don't want to hammer them over and over again. There's soft. By soft, I mean their lines are slow to move and they're wrong very frequently. So you can really beat them hard. But if they see that you're a sharp bettor and you're hammering them all the time, they're just going to limit you down to $10. So you don't want to keep hammering every single spot that's available to you. It's really, really important. The health of your accounts is critical. So you don't want to hammer these guys. Now, I know a lot of us are thinking, if you've never had an issue, you're like, yeah, right. That's not going to happen. Sportsbooks love me. I bet and I lose all the time. I get it. I was there. There was never a threat of an account limiting me. After this tool, I did get limited on one of the sites that I use really quickly because I got so excited that these amazing ARB opportunities were there. I couldn't stop myself. I was like, let me go back for more. And I hit the same bet twice. That's another rule of ARBing. We got the ARB commandments. That's a whole other video that I gotta make. But one of the ARB commandments is don't go back for the same bet twice on the same book. Once you did it, it's done. I don't care if it's still sitting there, floating around. It's so tempting. I can get more volume. Don't do it. Keep in mind that there it is, Brian Math, don't double dip. Don't double dip the chip. Don't double dip your arbs, guys. Never go back for a second one. You are going to ask for trouble. The other thing is, if you see an arb pop up here and this percentage is like 17% or 25%, they don't do that one. It's fake, or there's a mistake, or something's up. Don't do those. You want to stick to anything in this 3, 4.5. I think the most I've ever gotten on one is about a 5%er. So when you get started with this tool, this is very, very important. You're going to start small. $10, $15, $20, those amounts. You will make a mistake. You see here, even me. And by the way, I'm not that, I'm just like you guys. I don't consider myself, I've never considered myself a professional sports bettor. That's not me. That's Statsational and Anthony P and all the other guys and all those guys. That ain't me. I don't come from that background. But listen, I traded stocks for my whole life. I've been a DFS player for the last, 12, 14 years. I can't even tell you guys how long. So we're in this game of wagering, of taking risk behaviors in some senses. This really isn't risky. I love this because I don't mind playing the marathon. This is a marathon. Think about this as something that you can earn. If you do this right and you don't screw it up, you'll be able to earn a few $1,000s every single month. Think about what that can do for a family. Think about, these are tough times. It's hard to get by. It's hard to get by. People working for $25, $20, $15 an hour. This is making you more money than that. So consider it like a business. And the cost of the arb tool, hey, if you were working a power washing business, you got to buy the power washing machine first. You can't even you can't spray my driveway until you got a spraying machine. You got to pay some money for that. You got to pay a little bit to make a little bit. So think of your volume money, the cost of the tool, the monthly cost as cost of doing business. As a matter of fact, even with this tracker tool, I'm paying $40 a month for this tool because I like some of the features it has and how it kind of sorts my stuff for me. So I don't even mind paying for that. And that's just to track what I'm doing with the arb tool. So again, look at all these different days. Every single one, you see the same situations here. Oh, love this one. Bryce Miller walks, right? Plus 130, plus 132. Hammered it. Under 1.5. Take the losses here. Mix them all together. This is a very, very profitable trade. And that's what every single arb opportunity does. So getting back to it, you've set up your Sharp app account. You got the Pro Plus plan. If you do that, you can use promo code Founders. I think we have maybe 10 spots left for the founding group. That's the first 100 users. We're calling you guys the Founders, right? We have about 10 spots left. You want to grab it because this code will end. So promo code Founders will take it down from the $179 all the way down to $150. You're going to save another $30 a month, and that will lock in for as long as you're signed up. So go do it now. Even if you don't and you get it for $179, it's still an awesome price. It's still discounted for the first group. But keep in mind, as for each 100 users that we're adding to this tool, we do raise the price a little bit. And primarily, not to be a jerk, we're not being a dick. We don't want too many people on. The opportunities are there, and we don't want our subscribers, our members fighting with too many more people for it. So we kind of, our plan is to scale up the price as we add members. We got to cover our costs and all that, but we're going to scale up the price. So you want to lock it in now if you want this opportunity. Now, one other cool feature that you can't see here because of the way that I have my screen set up is right up here in the top corner. Let me see if that's visible. It's not. Wait, it's not. But right up here in the top corner, I can set my bankroll amount. So you see how these numbers, let's see if I could show you in a different way. These numbers are set for a $200 bet size. So that's how those are showing. Well, I can adjust that to whatever I want. So I can change that to, if I'm a $50 bettor, here we go. I just changed it to $50. So you can adjust this to whatever type of betting you do. We have some other really cool filters as well. Bet order. So I am a big fan of not doing sportsbook versus sportsbook, but focusing on sportsbook versus exchange. So you have a filter here to set it up for sportsbook versus exchange. You could choose which markets you want. Min-max odds for your bets. Like you might not be one, and I don't, if it's more than plus 200, minus 200, I don't do those. So you can set your odds to filter those out. And also the arb percentage. Anything over, I told you, 5 or 6% is probably fake, or it's an error on the part of one of the sports books. I don't even show those. I'm not here to exploit those type of errors. The sports book won't like me. I won't like me. No one's going to like me, so I'm not doing that, right? And you're asking for getting banned when you do stuff like that. So some really cool little filters there to help set up your screens. Now, of course, you're asking difficult questions. This is a good question, Dixon, and this has happened to me. So what Dixon is asking here is, what if you hit one side and the other side of the bet changes, and now you're screwed? Oh no, the arb is gone. The sportsbook moved the number. It's gone. What do you do? I'm going to tell you. Do you wait and hope the odds move in your favor? No. What you do is you find the other side of that bet wherever it is, and you hedge your way out, even if it's a loser. So just like we can make money on every arb, if you're in the middle of doing this, and they won't move on you too much once you're comfortable, but in your first couple days, it's not that it moves on you, but you clicked the wrong thing. You did 2 overs instead of an under. Until you get your mind configured for this, you might make a mistake or two here and there. And the correct answer is you arb out of it. You arbitrage out no matter what, even if it's a loss. You take your loss. Yeah, you look for the cash out. Cash out, FanDuel cashes you out, for example, at exactly what you put in. FanDuel saved me in that sense. Great call, Brian. But if you're on an exchange and you do the exchange side first, there is no cash out. So if you hit the exchange number, like on NoVig or ProfitX, you can't cash that out. I had to do a cash out yesterday because, like a little error. Like I said, I left a previous bet in there. And so instead of a bet, it became a parlay. I'm like, I don't want to parlay. Screw this. Cash out, took a loss of, 2%. What are you going to do? Right? If it's an exchange, you can't cash out. So I just find the other side of that bet. And by the way, it's nice to have Sharp app because we have the best odds and market screen in the game that you can find the other side of the bet. So you're going to lose a little bit, but so what? All right. So I did 20 arbs, one of which lost 2%, but the other 19 made 2 or 3%. You're not even going to notice that one. What you would notice is if you leave one unhedged, and it kills your whole day of arbing. Was I going to do a specific tutorial on NoVig and ProfitX? I can do that privately. I don't think I want to do that here per se on this public video, but I don't mind kind of going through how to use those. It took me a minute, and the primary thing, I'll just give you the basic of ProfitX, and NoVig is the same. NoVig's it's on your phone. You won't have a PC. I can't desktop NoVig, but it works the same as ProfitX. The main thing you have to understand with ProfitX and NoVig is to pay attention to the liquidity. So when I click it, this one won't load a bet. It will take you here. I'm going to find the bet size. So the points, rebounds, assists, bam. I look for it. I look for the spot, and then I look for the liquidity. Because if sometimes a number is sitting there, you're like, oh my God, plus 115, that's amazing. But there's only $17 of liquidity, and you bet 200 on the other side of it, and you didn't pay attention. You're like, oh no, I only got $17 here. So my suggestion is you always kind of want to do the exchange side first and focus in on how much liquidity is there before you click any buttons. I think that covers most everything that I really wanted to go over here in this video. So some tips for success, guys. Start small until you get comfortable with the process. You don't have to. This is not a marathon. I mean, it is a marathon. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Start small. Do 10, 15 bucks a day. You will naturally get comfortable. You're just going to find yourself raising it up a little bit. Diversify. Next tip is diversify across multiple sports books to maximize not just opportunities, but account health. Account health is king. You got to watch out for getting limits by sports books. There are ways to mitigate that. Again, one of which is try to do most of your arbing within the hour or two before lock for whatever sport you're doing. That's number one. Number two, don't double dip. Don't go back to the same bet twice. And here's a big one, guys. Avoid crazy, weird markets, okay? You want to give the appearance of a casual sports bettor. What that means is, casual sports bettors are betting points, rebounds, assists, game sides, pregame stuff, that kind of thing. If you're on there betting threes and 3-point field goal percentage and block shots and alt lines, you're going to raise a flag. So avoid those whenever possible. Don't try to do too many crazy bets. Understand, here's another one. Understand the difference between the books that you're using. FanDuel is a very sharp book. You could pretty much get as much action as you want on FanDuel. It's going to be unusual for them to give you any kind of hard time or even limit your account. DraftKings, second on the list. But when you get to the more casual sports books that give a lot of gifts, for example, you got to be a little careful with those guys and don't abuse them. 1 bet a day on MGM, 1 bet a day on Rivers, 1 bet a day, that kind of thing. Keep it chill. You know, in my perfect world, what I try to do is win all my bets on the exchange and lose the bets on the sports book. They love a loser, and I want to be their lovable loser. So I'm trying to lose the ones on the book. So, you know, build up as much money on the exchange as possible. That keeps my account healthy. Understand, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So when you're doing this, don't go crazy any one day. Take your time. For every RBC, deep breath. Don't get too excited. Here's another tip. Get comfortable finding the markets on app-only sports books. You have to understand that some of the sports books are app-only, like Novig. So I had to get really listen, I can't even see. I had to get used to that. That's the hardest part for me. And other people are so much faster. Young people figure out, you got your iPad open over here, throwing it over. I'm sitting over here like, you know, I'm scrolling around. Let me make sure, but be deliberate and be careful. Be careful about it. And by the way, Jake P, talk about stocks. You want to talk about a way to acquire the $1,000 a month that I told you guys that you need to be putting into the S&P 500 every single month. You must be doing that if you want to become a millionaire. Well, arb your way to it. It's not a problem at all to use this tool to lock down $1,000 a month in very comfortable profitability without raising any fluff, and put that, if you don't want to increase your bankroll, throw it right in the S&P at the end of the month and build, and use this tool to make your millions in life. You can actually do it because you can make $1,000, throw it right into S&P, and you can really get your savings going. So absolutely highly recommend doing that. Guys, if you have any other questions, I'm available pretty much all the time, both in the DFS Army and the Sharp App Discord. My channel in the Sharp App Discord is now called Arb Discussion because I love this stuff. I'm an arbaholic. Okay, that's listen. I all day long I sit here. By the way, this isn't even it's definitely not financial advice, but you know, I'm sitting here all day finding arbs. I'm at the computer all day. I'm here anyway. So for me, I just have this open on a screen. I see them pop up. Boom, I see the flash. I love the and props to Ray, our lead developer. I like the little animations that happen on the screen when a new one pops up. It catches your eye, and so you see it. And you're like, oh, there it is. Look. You know, bam, what's this? Here's an arb. Here's a money line arb. Oh, that's fire. Houston plus 116. San Francisco minus 106. $50 better puts 50 here. 45 there. You're making $2 either way. That's a 2.5% arb right on screen. These are happening right before your eyes. They're constant. They're all throughout the day, and they're coming to you super fast. The tech that we have here at the FSR at Sharp App, the Sharp App tech, is what makes the difference. This type of technology does exist in other places. I've seen them. I've seen a tool like this that exists elsewhere. The problem is they're delayed by multiple minutes. So every single one that they ever show you is already long gone. And that's the difference between what we're bringing to the table. No one's going to leave this out there. If it's a good arb opportunity, no one's going to leave it out there for 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's simply not going to be there anymore. They are here and they're gone within 20 to 30 seconds. You got to be somewhat quick about it. You got to get your own system down. But I want everybody to be successful here. I want you to have this second income to add to whatever it is that you do for your family, for your S&P, whatever it is. Or how about just smoothing out your regular betting? If you're a regular sports bettor, you know, your returns are all over the place. They're up, they're down, you win, you lose. You know how it goes. This will smooth it out. The bad days will be less bad, and the good days will be a lot more good. So just because I have this tool doesn't mean I don't bet sides. I bet the Gators every round. You know, fucking chomp, guys. Come on. I got bets out there. We're betting UFC every weekend. I'm dropping those plays in the Discord. I'm still watching games with a betting interest. But this is smoothing out the returns. Look at the good days. Yesterday was a good day, right? Let's go back to the picket. I got to show. Yes, did I bet a couple of spots that weren't part of arbitrages? Sure. But most of them were, and that's a $580 win. I had most arbs, but I won a little bets. I won a little alt line over kind of bet, $10 into 70, a couple stuff like little spots like that. But you can see here the vast majority. Yeah, I lost a little. Oh, this was that parlay that I had to cancel. But for the most part, all just ARB opportunities, $580 in a single day. Most people don't make that in a week. Most people don't make that in a year, or taking it down in a day, guys. Listen, that's going to wrap it up. That's the ARB tool at Sharp app. You want to go to sharp.app, the website, sign up with promo code FOUNDERS. Link is in the description below. I don't know how many people signed up from this video. There were only 10 spots left for the Founders discount. So I advise you to go and sign up right now. Go do it now. Promo code FOUNDERS. And then the first thing you want to do is start to get your outs going. Start to set up your sports books, get your ProfitX, get your Novig. But the first thing you got to do is get in there and lock in. You want to talk about an ARB opportunity. There's like 9 more people who are going to get this for $30 off for $150 a month. And then it's going to jump to $179. And within the 2 weeks, as this goes to mobile and has all the options that we want, it's going to be $250. So the people who lock in at the rate, at the 150 rate, you will never see a price increase. Just like at DFS Army, I've got some people still in there from the price back in 2016. They never get an increase because I believe in loyalty. That's why we're calling you guys the founders, the first 100, the founding 100 members. You will never see a price increase for this tool. You can use it as long as you want. You can cancel it anytime. Give it a try. Ask me a question if you have a problem. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Again, we're taking advantage of market opportunities. We're exploiting discrepancies with this tool. Get on board. Promo code FOUNDERS at sharp.app. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you on the ARB streets. Take care, guys.